To another book room. I am Amy Reichert, and I'm here with my fabulous co-host Heather Webb, and our two amazing guests, Kimmery Martin, who is an emergency medical doctor and turned into a novelist, though you still practice, if I'm understanding correctly. I don't know how you have time. Is that right, Kimmery?
I actually volunteered this last year.
Oh my gosh, amazing! Of all the years to volunteer. I bet you have some stories for another time. So I don't know when you find the time to write. And then our other guest is Jamie Brenner, best-selling author, and she used to work in the publishing industry and now gets published. So it's kind of cool. So welcome, both of you. We're so excited to have you.
Jamie, I didn't know you were in the publishing industry before.
Yes, my first job was at HarperCollins in publicity.
Okay.
I mean, I always wanted to write, but I'm like, there's no way I can ever write. So I'm just going to work in book publishing.
And you can write. I can attest to that. I've been reading this in the middle of the night while I've had a lot of insomnia the last couple of weeks. And I've been loving, that's the good thing about being up in the middle of the night.
Oh, that is the middle of the night reading is the highest compliment, I have to say. That's how I read my first Emily Giffin book. It was the middle of the night. And I'm like, if I can read this now, she's a keeper.
But I just want to let everyone know that I'm in the middle of an apocalypse that is about to happen. I'm going to just show you my radar. So if for some reason I disappear, that's why. So I just wanted to share that because it is really, really dark outside and it shouldn't be that dark yet. So yeah, who knows? It's going to get fun. I love storms, but that's, again, a different show. So should we start with Poppy News, Heather?
We should. Let's do it. Poppy News. All right. We don't have a ton this week, except for we do. Amy's book, The Kindred Spirit Supper Club, is there's a Goodreads giveaway, correct?
Yes. Goodreads giveaway.
And Tiff Marcello has a new book out today that is a contemporary romance called It Takes Heart. So check that out. Mm-hmm. And then the other big news is that Amy and I have just found out that we are going to be co-leading a writer's retreat in Ireland next July. So that is going to be a lot of fun. And there's going to be a lot more information. Pandemic willing, next July. Limited participants. We'll have a lot more info about that later. But it's part touring and it's part writing workshop stuff. So it's going to be fabulous.
It is. And then you get to hang out with us in Ireland. And that would be lots of fun. So if any of you are interested in writing, we'll have more information in the weeks to come.
So, okay, Marissa just said going to Jamie Brenner's signing was so wonderful. Jamie, you saw Marissa. I think I saw that photo.
I did. And we've got something else planned together as well. So we're going to keep the party going. We're taking it to a vineyard nearby in a few weeks.
Ooh, which vineyard?
I forget the name of it, Marissa. If you're watching, if you type it in, I can't remember, but Marissa found it. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's something I wanted to do from the beginning of this book, but it didn't turn out to be as easy, obviously, in the current climate. But Marissa's helping make it happen.
Yay!
So wait a minute, is this her? Yes, she's coming to my book club, Penn Woods. Okay. Very cool. All right. Well, we didn't have a lot of news, so let's talk about what we're reading, ladies. We always like to share the love a bit. Kimmery, what are you into these days? Is there a book you'd like to talk about?
Why, yes, because y'all gave me a 5-minute heads up warning. I'm reading Great Circle by Megan Smith. It's so brilliant. I'm a sucker for a really good literary read that's wordy, where every sentence just sort of oozes gravitas and cool words and unexpected sentence endings, and I really love it. Even if I didn't love the story, which I do, just this woman's writing is phenomenal.
Awesome.
Very cool. I haven't seen that or heard that, but it looks like it was a book club pick from someone.
Oh, you're right. And it's a read with Jenna.
Oh, okay. I'm not up on my Jenna books lately, but I will check that out for sure. What about you, Jamie? Do you have time to read? You've been touring.
Oh, I always have time to read. Come on, we always make time.
We
You're
do.
not allowed to not make time for reading.
That's so true.
Although sometimes, I shift to nonfiction if like it's too much writing and reading fiction. But this is a wonderful book that just came out today. My friend Nicola Harrison. It's about a woman in the 1920s whose dream is to become a showgirl with the Ziegfeld Follies. And she gets it, but when she meets like the man of her dreams, she's got to choose between the two, and it's just beautifully written. Like Nicola's research is so on point, and the heroine is like just the person you want to root for, you do root for. So it's like a smart summer read.
That cover is so
It's
delicious.
Gorgeous. I know.
The minute I saw it posted, when the cover reveal happened, I knew that was going to be on my bookshelf.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
For sure. Yeah. Nice. What about you, Amy? What are you reading?
So I have divin in. Can you tell I'm sort of taking a break from writing right now? I'm diving into Lizzie and Dante by Mary Bly. So you might know Mary Bly better by her pen name, Eloisa James, who is one of my most favorite historical romance authors. She was one of the first that I found, and I just every year or two I'll stop and catch up on everything that she's written because she is very prolific. So this is her first women's fiction or general fiction, and it's a scholar post breakup goes to Italy to kind of get over things, and then meets Dante, who is a local chef, has a child. She doesn't have a child.
It's very sexy.
So it kind of feels a little bit like Eat, Pray, Love from the, rediscovering yourself, but I can kind of tell it's going to pull at some heartstrings. So it's one of those that I think there'll be tears by the time I'm done with this thing.
That was another one of my middle of the night insomnia reads.
This cover has like an Italian beach, and I want to go to there.
She's actually Mary Bly / Eloisa James is going to be joining us in a few weeks. That'll be fun.
Very excited.
So I'm actually, as usual, I have 2 books going on. I have an audiobook. I don't know if you can, The Marsh King's Daughter by Karen Dion. And I'm not a big time suspense reader, but I read a few a year and love them. And I love Karen. She's great. And I've been watching her pictures on her social media. They're developing it. I don't know if it's a film or a series. I think it's a film. And she was there on set and she was posting these pictures, and that was very fun to check out. So I had to read that. So I just started that. And then I also got an ARC 2 days ago, and this cover, I love it. Antoinette's Sister by Diane Giovinazzo. And it's literally about Marie Antoinette's sister, Charlotte, who married King Ferdinand, and all the stuff that's happening down there. And I honestly can't tell you that much about what's happening in that region. So I'm really excited to read and find out.
So I feel like
in January.
I feel like the cover for the Showgirl and Marie Antoinette book they're very similar. They kind of have a vibe. Are they the same publisher?
Grand Central?
St. Martin's.
No.
Okay.
Right.
They both have a little bit of a literary historical.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. I love
Heather,
them.
when's that coming out?
I think it's January 11th.
Okay, that's good.
So.
Just gorgeous.
And then Lexi has shown us Mary Bly is September 28th. So make
Thank
sure
you,
you
Lexi.
guys. Ooh. Okay. Yes. All right. So we want to hear about some other great books, ladies.
Yes.
Your books. We'll start with Jamie because you just had yours come out and I was showing it off. Blush.
Oh, that's cool.
I love this cover.
So tell us a little about it, and then we'd love to hear a fun anecdote behind the scenes, something that went right, something that went wrong, some little fun tidbit.
All right. So Blush is, first we'll talk about the setting. It's set on a winery, and the start of the book, a woman goes to her family's winery to spend a summer vacation. She's in her early 50s. Life is crazy. Her daughter has no time for her, all the midlife stuff. Goes to her family's vineyard and learns that her parents are about to lose the winery, lose the house, lose the vineyard, everything. So while she's dealing with this, her college-age daughter shows up. She's got a crisis. The mother, the matriarch, is devastated at the thought of losing the business. So these 3 women, the grandmother, mother, daughter, spend the summer together. the college-age girl discovers in the library evidence of her grandmother's old book club. But it's not just any book club. It's a trashy novel book club where the women were reading all the blockbuster novels of the 80s, like Scruples by Judith Krantz and Chances by Jackie Collins and Lace by Shirley Conran. And this girl who's very intellectual and very, very much a feminist is appalled that this is what her grandmother was reading. But she finds herself slowly drawn into reading these books herself. The three women form a little book club, and it's through these old trashy novels that they find the solution to their summer of woe.
Love it.
It's such a fun book. But it's got heart too. It's got some real great weight to it. It's a beautiful book. I really enjoyed reading it.
Thank you.
And so what about behind the scenes? Tell us the good stuff behind the scenes.
So one of the hardest things I knew nothing about wine going into this, and it's a huge learning curve. I mean, there's a ton, it's an endlessly fascinating subject. There's so much to absorb. At a point I thought like, there's no way I can actually get through this. Like I've bitten off more than I can chew, but it was very fun to research. And one thing I did early on was take a wine and cheese class at Murray's Cheese in the Village. Luckily, like I happen to live, near such a great resource. So I learned about wine and cheese pairings for the first time in my life. And I'm not a very adventurous eater. Like I would eat Swiss cheese and provolone cheese. But I brought should I do a little visual?
Yes.
Let's see it.
So these are like 3 of the cheeses that I learned about pairing in this class. So this is like your classic blue cheese. And I learned that the more blue, like of this blue veiny stuff, like the more aggressive and sharp the taste is. And I learned that you should pair this with like a heavy wine, like a Malbec. The store where I got this today recommend pairing it with a port. Then this is my favorite cheese that I never had until I was 48 years old. It's called Kunik, and it's a triple cream cheese with cow and goat's milk. It's like butter. It's so rich, and you want to pair that with something light, like rosé.
Excellent.
What doesn't go with rosé? And then finally, this is just a simple cheddar. I learned that cheddar is defined by the way it's made, which is like they separate out the curds and let it dry. So you get that very like crumbly texture to cheddar. And the class that I took suggested pairing cheddar with Merlot. Yeah. I can't tell you why, but that's what I learned. And I'm just going by Murray's because they're the experts. And I still am very much a novice. So these were my 3 takeaways from researching this book that I'm still enjoying. And hopefully, I always thought wine had all these rules, and I realized it's really just about optimizing your enjoyment. Like it's not about following rules. It's just about what can like make the cheese taste better and what cheese makes the wine taste better. So I learned to have fun and not feel like I had to know everything and be perfect.
Yeah.
I am a major cheese head and major wine girl too. So this is the language of love that you're speaking to me right now. And in fact, for you people who love cheese, fromage.com, it's a French company, but you can package it like boxes, and they have all these different pairings, and they ship them to the States. I ordered them for presents. I've gotten them as presents. I've sent a whole huge box to my agent with the wine. That was fun for her to get and fun for me to send. So yes, I love it. I love that you went and took a class. That's really cool.
It was fun.
Yeah. So Kimmery, tell us about your new book.
I love this cover. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm getting ready to literally murder the wine and cheese vibe that we have. It's really the subject. And I want to preface this by saying I've not talked about this book publicly yet. It comes out in November, so you guys are the guinea pigs. But the important thing to know about Doctors and Friends is that I had the idea for it in 2018 and researched, wrote it, and sold it in 2019. Okay, so that's really important because the book is about a group of female doctors during a brand new worldwide viral pandemic. And I know, right? So we were going to pitch the book as Sophie's Choice meets the Hot Zone. That might give you some idea of the plot. Okay, so the main character is an infectious disease doctor at the CDC. And she's on this group trip with her best friends from medical school. They all go on a girls' trip every year. They're in Spain and Morocco, which happens to be where I went with my medical school girlfriends for research. And so they're on this
research.
trip.
I saw that research with girlfriends.
It was legit research. I wrote on a camel. I did a lot of stuff to research this book. And so the pandemic breaks out. The infectious disease doctor is back in the United States, and both of her children become deathly ill. She has access to one dose of an experimental antiviral medication, and she has to select which child gets it. And that sounds pretty far-fetched, but I actually based it on a real-life scenario. So when the actual pandemic hit, my publisher and I had to have a meeting to decide whether or not to go forward with publication and whether to change things. And it wasn't fully written, but it was pretty much written. So we did decide to publish it, but I had to make some changes to it.
Wow.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Kimmery, did you read the Michael Lewis book about how the pandemic unfolded?
The one with the yellow cover, yes. What is it called?
I can't remember, but it just the way you talked about the heroine and like the plight she's in, it seems like it sounds like I can imagine how in 2019 that sounded so far-fetched, but there are like similar women, I feel like Michael Lewis chronicled like in real life, which is just amazing.
I think his book actually came out after COVID though.
Yeah. But it's about like the women who stepped up during COVID. A lot of them are women.
Yeah, that's very true. In fact, one of the characters in Doctors and Friends, I named after kind of a personal real life heroine, Kizzy Corbett. Have y'all heard of her or know who she is? She's a PhD scientist at the National Institutes for Health, and she was working on an mRNA vaccine for a different kind of coronavirus before COVID. There were actually quite a few mRNA vaccines being developed before COVID hit. It's kind of a fallacy that this was the first one developed. And then she partnered with Moderna to invent their vaccine. So she's one of the reasons we even have a vaccine. So I had named a character after her in the book. The president of the United States was named Corbett.
Very cool.
Very cool. So is the Michael book you're talking about, the yellow cover, that's the Plague Year? Is that what you were saying it's called? No.
It's something like, I can't remember.
We'll find it.
It's his most recent book. Anyway, if you Google it, it's his most recent, it'll come up.
I'm looking at Goodreads. Carry on.
Okay.
A Premonition by Michael?
Yes, that's it. Let's see.
Okay. Lexi's awesome. Well, I love the sound of this. Sophie's Choice. I still, I randomly, this is terrible of me, but I think, as a mom, and I've got 2 kids, I've actually thought, what would I do if I had to choose? And which one of them would survive better? Which one would, and it's such a horrible thing to think about. And so I think it's fascinating that you're focusing, sort of the crux of the book around that. I'm very interested to see what happens.
Yeah, my editor is all kinds of nervous about even putting that on the cover. So they actually took it out of the cover after it happened. And I kind of argued to put it back in. I think it's going to make its way back into the cover flat, but I don't know if they're going to put it on, Goodreads and Amazon and all that. So we'll see. She's really, we don't know if anybody's going to want to read this book. We're all kind of armchair virologists now. We don't need it.
Look, Sharon Carlson Person, who we love here at Bloom, is really excited about this book. She keeps posting.
Yes. Go Sharon.
Thank you. All right. So I got to share. Sharon's going to read it.
There's going to be people. It'll be
I'm
good.
just very stressed out because I remember reading Stations 11 and just thinking about what I would do if a pandemic broke out as quickly as that one did in that particular book, or any kind of apocalyptic event. And so now I'm just really stressed out about the idea of having to choose which of my kids is medicine.
I told you I was going to murder the wine and cheese vibe. This is really dark.
That's all right, though.
No, we definitely need to drink after this conversation, Kimmery. You totally amplified the wine vibe.
And actually, Amy we're going to bring it back around to the food because she has a very special product tonight.
I do. So I spent despite Armageddon going on outside my house right now, it was very hot and steamy in Wisconsin today. And I spent the day at the Wisconsin State Fair, which is amazing. And if anyone watching is familiar with the Wisconsin State Fair, it is very, very important if you go that you also get a cream puff. So this is a Wisconsin State Fair cream puff. They do tens of thousands of these, possibly every day. I mean, it's quite the production. You can see them come out of the oven, and then they slice the cream puffs, and they have these giant machines that make whipped cream, and these people pipe it right in there. And then you get this huge, gorgeous thing. And I feel like I have to show people
I think you need to show us. I want to see how you bite into that thing.
So
yeah, how do you eat that?
You cannot eat it like a sandwich. It would be whipped cream everywhere. So you have to kind of twist it like an Oreo. Oops, I lost a little whipped cream. And get whipped cream on both ends. And then you just eat it like at a half.
Yes. You're such a trooper. She put on makeup like a week ago, right?
Yeah, I did.
Like this whole
And then
foundation.
you have whipped cream all over your face. It's pretty good. I'm not a huge cream puff eater, but once a year you kind of have to do it. But people will line up. I have whipped cream everywhere, all over my desk right now. People will line up for hours in advance because they have like drive-throughs where you can go by and get them. So yeah, it's all about the dairy in Wisconsin.
I love it.
Deep fried cheese curds. I had deep fried stuffing balls that you dipped in gravy today.
Wow.
I love fair food. It's just everything that's wrong about the American diet in one place.
So true.
Do it in one day and then move on.
Yeah.
Kimmery, did you have any products or anything you wanted to share with us tonight?
Well, I was sort of panicking a half an hour ago because I belatedly realized there was a thing that said either show a hidden talent or have fun with food. And I was like, how do I have fun with food? Now I know, watching Amy, what was meant by that, and Jamie. So I have both the talent and a food. I'll show you the food, not the talent. You don't want to see that.
That's true.
Okay, so I'm from Kentucky.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Van Winkle. Love the name.
I got it for my husband's birthday. For him.
Is that a Pappy? Did I hear that Pappy Van Winkle?
That's
That's
a Pappy Van
real
Winkle.
hard to get.
Yeah, I have a hookup in Kentucky because that's my people. Otherwise, you can't find this. It's so hard to find.
Why?
Especially
Tell me why. Why is it hard to find? Is it they just stopped making it?
They make it, but it's just so high demand. Not this bottle, but some of their bottles go for like $4,000 each.
Oh my God.
And
Wow.
did you guys see the heist thing that happened a few years ago? There was like a major theft of Pappy Van Winkle, and that drove the price up even more.
No, but I see a book in that.
Totally. Yes.
Well, there's a Netflix already.
Whiskey truck.
Oh,
Is it? Oh, dang it.
I actually want to watch that now.
Yeah.
Do you know what is it called? The Heist?
It's called The Heist, and I think they have different shows about different heists. And one of the ones was like this good old boy in Kentucky who worked at the distillery where Pappy is made, and how he started sneaking out some bottles, and then it kind of exploded into this major theft. And it's interesting.
Wow.
My
Sounds
husband's
like
a big bourbon drinker. Anyway, you are sharing your Pappy Van Winkle with us.
That was my fun food.
Yeah.
Food fun.
And I actually have a food too. We don't usually always have food. I mean, last time I put a big a tile scrubber up here and ran it for everybody. But I've discovered this new water. It's called Hint, and it's fruit infused, just like you would have like a seltzer, except for it's flat. It's just regular water, which seltzer for me after a while, it's really acidic, especially if you drink a lot of coffee or whatever. But this is just regular water with this fruit infused. There's nothing, there's no sugar, there's no fake sugar, there's nothing in it. So I'm kind of in love with it. I'm like carrying it around, and it's, you know, you get tired of just water all the time. So it's nice to have a little fun. So Hint is the name of it.
Hint.
Awesome.
And ladies, that's pretty much all we have time for tonight. That went really fast.
It always does. We will make sure to have links to Kimmery's and Jamie's books in the comment section so that you can click on those and go check them out, because you're going to want to. And I just have to say, Kimmery, I love the book covers that your books have. They have this sort of, I don't know the time period. Yeah, thank you. They're just gorgeous. The colors, the artwork, they're so beautiful. So, and they're great books. So everyone should go check those out. And Jamie's are just the quintessential. I always think of them with the lady with the hat on the beach. Because so many of them have a lady with a hat on the beach.
Yeah, but they're like elegant. They're not your regular like low grade. They're like a beautiful, elegant.
No, they're beautiful, beautiful covers.
No one would like low grade beach women. No one. We cannot have that.
But they're big. They're just what you want to dive into when you're sitting on a beach. They're juicy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we'll have those links in the comments. And thank you both so much for coming. This was wonderful.
Thank you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.
Goodbye.